Okay, welcome to this tutorial. I want to show you a breakdown of how I was able to model the helicopter that I just showed you in the movie scene from Avatar that I made. Okay, it's actually loading. Oh yes, here we have it. I believe the textures are loading. Let me give it some time, just a few seconds, so it can load the textures. Yes, there we have it. So this is it. So this is the helicopter, and for some reason the visibility, or rather the viewport shading, is set to show the wireframe. I don't need to show the wireframe for now, Alright, I just need to disable all this. But yes, here we have it. So this is the 3D model. I'm going to share with you a link. You can find this helicopter on CG Trader. Actually, I'm selling it. I have published there for sale. So I need us to see how I need to explain to you how you approach this kind of modeling. So first and foremost, you need to have some reference images for this. Unfortunately, not everything is found, or rather not all blueprints are found for all things you want to make. Some of the things you want to make are just in your mind, or they exist without a blueprint. And a good example is this helicopter. So how did I find the reference images? You just watch the movie. So I watched this movie, then I grabbed from the movie just a few screenshots of places where I feel that this helicopter is well shown. Let me just show you examples. They are not very great, some of them, because of something called motion blur, so not very helpful, but at least you gotta use what you have to know the form, the shape of things. So I was able to grab from the movie in 4K resolution, so I can get a better view of some details that I want. Some of them were very good, like this one is very good because I needed to know this area, this front area here. So some of these were very good. This one was very good in letting me know the form inside the wing, and also the shape that is around here. Then for the inside, I skipped the inside simply because it was too complicated, and by the time I did the exterior, I was tired and I needed to do the rest of the environment. So as you can see, I skipped that. This one is very important simply because you can tell the form that is happening around this area. Very important. Close-up shots, this turned out to be very useful also. Some close-up shots are the things that you need. Now this one is blurry, but it was the only best approximation of the side, from the side. So I know the side looks somewhat like this. It's from an angle, so I have to keep that in mind when I'm modeling. But it's a very good way to tell you how the shape is, because otherwise the rest are like 3/4 angles perspective. You don't have what you want. You don't have exactly what you want from the front, from the top. They are not very accurate, but some will tell you the shape of this. For example, this one, I used this one to have a rough estimation from the top. This was the best shot I had to see from the front. Unfortunately, the camera angles and perspective was ruined, meaning it doesn't match other shapes from other angles. But yeah, this is it. So you have a reference and you have your imagination, and just like that, I was also able to find, this was the only drawing I could find when I searched for a blueprint. It only shows how the different elements are laid out. Well, it was very useful, but then I had to do the hard work of finding blueprints. So having captured those reference images, I want us to jump right into the modeling phase, just to show you the setup of the modeling. And here it is. So yes, so I can say this was the first attempt at modeling. Let me disable all my collections so I can show you where I started. This is going to be the container, and it's actually the measurement against some references. So you can say that on this side I have the right view. For the measurements, I just guessed. I searched online for other helicopters, so I was able to find out the size. And also from the front, this was the best I could find. From the top, this was the best I could find. And with those rough blueprints, I started the modeling. So I began with the key features, some of them being, let me disable these references, some of them being like this glass, though this is not even the final, it's just a layout. And these edges, as you can see, these are just faces that have been extruded, paying attention the blueprint, not to miss out on the shape. So having studied all the parts, the sections, the rest is quite easy. I am pretty much sure that whoever modeled this helicopter from the movie used a hard surface approach. But for me, I didn't want to use the hard surface approach because the form was not very clear to me, the form of this helicopter. So I decided, let me go the natural way, just extruding vertices, meshes, faces, edges, and all that. So then after that, I was able to reach this point where I have a basic layout mirrored from the center. You can see this is a mirror modifier. So left is mirrored to right, but not for everything, because like now you see some of these components here, they don't really have a mirror for right and left. So it was not practical to do all the mirroring. But for the most of the part, you can tell that these are just faces faces which have been extruded. Then obviously in my workout, I have an unused folder where I place all the elements which I feel that I have not done very right, but I would like to visit again. You can tell that I really had a rough time modeling this mirror part. This was the one of the hardest. I did various attempts just to make it look believable, or at least to make it feel right. All right, so I had to do it quite a lot of times. Bools for booleans, I didn't use booleans. I avoided using booleans because they create n-gons. I'm not saying that this mesh is completely four vertices per face, but I have done my best to make sure that it's consistent. The modeling, the profile is consistent. So this was a collection for the weapons. I just wish I'm a weapons guy, because I would have spent more time to model these weapons, the guns. These are gunship helicopters, it's an attack helicopters. Sometimes I like keeping the originals in a folder, and by originals I mean the meshes that have their modifiers unapplied, in case I need to apply a modifier and still have the original. So you can still see that I had to do a lot on these mirrors. I had to change the shape quite a lot.